are you there?
Oh, yeah, hi, Legacy.
I'm on the trail of Baron Blade. I found his hideout. Why don't you come down, Will? Finish him. Together.
He wants us to fight Baron Blade.
Oh, we fought Baron Blade this morning.
I know.
We'll do it. We'll do it tomorrow.
So, Legacy, the thing is that we're probably just going to stay in tonight. I mean, the Archers is on, and, well, Fabulous Boy's a bit tired. And look, I think we're probably just going to fight him tomorrow. And actually, my rocket launcher's in the shop anyway, so it just doesn't make sense.
Sentinels of the Multiverse is a game where you and your friends will engage in the uniquely antisocial activity of fighting big bad guys while being superheroes. Now, it's a game of decks, but it's not a deck building game. No, it's not one of those games where you'll start out with a few cards and you'll grab a few more as you play along. But it is a game of decks, of lots and lots of decks. There are decks for superheroes, there are decks for supervillains, there are even decks for where you're going to fight. And the idea is, right, look, listen, right, wait, listen, this is the thing, okay, so, you know, you got this right, okay, this is the thing. The idea is you can combine any of these decks in any combination that you like. So do you want to be Tachyon, who's the fastest woman in the universe, and do you want to fight giant plague rat, and do you want to do it in a warehouse, or maybe you want to be Ra, who's an Egyptian, or the woman with the guns, and you can do that on Mars, and you can fight a guy who makes bombs. It doesn't matter. The idea is, look, this is your game. You combine the bits Lego-wise however you like.
Come here, and look at all these fabulous heroes. These are all the different hero decks. You can play Bunker, who's a robot, or Fanatic, who's a lady, or Tempest, who, yeah. And you can fight in Atlantis, and you can fight in all these different places, but the way you fight will always be the same. You will pick your hero. You'll have 4 cards drawn off the top of the deck, and on your turn you will just play a card. Except, as you're orbiting the table like some kind of beautiful constellation of justice, when you get to the villain deck, the villain will do something terrible. And as you get to the environment deck, the environment will do something terrible. So all of the decks you play with come together to create a kind of unique, heroic melange of pain and suffering and victories.
So you've got these different heroes, and every hero had their own abilities and their own little decks, and it's kind of fancy, really. The first game I played a character called Wraith. Now, Wraith is basically a Lady Batman. She's not Batman. She hasn't got Batarangs. She's got Lady Rangs. So it's not Batman. It's fine. It's different. But you can see, you know, she looks a bit like Batman, and you've got these different powers that they can do, and you have equipment, so you level her up, and she can, you know, get men drunk and then get more cards from a trust fund. It's very endearing. It's very nice. But then kind of have these moments where you sort of think, well, who did the art for that one? Who did the art for that one? And I think the art was all done by the same guy, but it's kind of increasingly a bit wobbly, but we'll go back to that. It doesn't matter because you've got all these powers, and, well, actually, you haven't already got that many different things you can do. You can basically do damage or not do damage. And, yeah.
It's not often that we care about art, but frankly, it's hard not to when you've got beautiful pieces of art like this, and then you get stuff like that. Anyway, never mind that. Sentinels of Multiverse, the game, how does it work? So you're going to have a character. I've got sexy expatriate here, who's like sort of Daredevil. She's not Daredevil. No. So you'll have your deck, and you will draw 4 cards off the top of that deck. And first things first, you'll play a card. And the card you play will be different depending on what kind of character you are. Like expatriate first needs a gun, so I'll play my submachine gun. I can then use a power, which in expatriate's case is to play another card. I'll load it with hollow points. Finally, my turn ends with me drawing a card. That's almost the whole game. We then go around the circle to my superhero buddy, Matt.
Yeah, so the problem is you've got a selection of different things you can do, and when you see that in a little microcosm, you think that sounds exciting. You've got character with a gun and ammo, but you quickly realise that whilst the decks for each character are about yay thick, they have a lot of repetition, and actually when you first look at it, you go, oh, this is interesting, this character is interesting, but there's not really any nuance. You always end up just doing one or two things. And so with each round, you have a point at which you play a card and then play a power, but you always end up pretty much just using the same power over and over again. And the power is usually just, let's do some damage.
And there's another slightly creepy thing, which is that when you read the manual, which is only about 8 pages, it says, those are the only rules, and go off, have some fun, you crazy kids. And it's a lie.
It's not true, because it says to you that it's the sort of game where you don't need the manual. And that's sort of true, because when we played, the manual stayed firmly in the box, which usually with a board game would be an amazing sign. But the problem here is the manual appears to be in the box, but it's never in the box. It's always out of the box on these flipping cards, because you've got all these cards, so you always end up with a bunch of different equipment and ongoing stat boosts in front of you. You always have to remind yourself of how they work, and then the skills you use often have lots of different text on and involves lots of little maths things you have to do and you have to work out. But then also, you've got the bad guy, and the bad guy you're fighting, it starts off simple. This guy's got health, you do damage to him, his health goes down. I can do this, easy. Let's sprinkle the bastard with damage. But then the baddie starts to bring out shields that deflect damage and things that do other types of damage. There's 8 different types of damage in the game. And then they do spells that involve you to do other maths, and they have ongoing boosts which hang around, and minions, and then you have the environment which have ongoing things, and gradually your characters become more powerful. But at the same time, really what happens in the game is it becomes an overwhelmingly complex system that you're constantly having to refer to rules and refer to what's happening and how much damage you should take each round. But you never look in the box because it's always there.
No, you keep the manual closed, and that's fine. But, shooting a bad guy with a shotgun, that's fine. But shooting a bad guy in a shotgun, in an irradiated vat, next to a biometric plasma vat, when he has a shield, and you're hastened under intense doom, and there's a lab rat gnawing at you, and the lab rat's mutated, and you are bathed in a cooling supercool trisolvent vat. Wait, hang on. Where was I going with this?
Well, the way you're going with this is the fact that there isn't a game.
So you have to ask yourself, where are your options? Where are your choices as you go through your deck of, I guess, admittedly thematic cards? Here I am going through Ra, where my choice could be maybe to do some damage, or to do a different amount of damage, or to do a big amount of damage, or some other Do you see what I'm talking about? There's not really any room to build up tactics and tricks. There's not a chance to really get strategy going or to synergize with the other players. Where are your choices? Where do you decide things? When are you scratching your head? You're not. You're just hammering things over and over again till they fall down.
Let's not look past what Sentinels of the Multiverse has achieved here. There is an unbelievable quantity of colour and variety in this box. Since every hero you play as is radically different, every time you play the game for the first, 12 times will be totally different before we've got to villains. And variety in colour is wonderful! One of our favourite games is Cosmic Encounter.
Hooray!
Which offers different alien races that change the game. Every single game of Cosmic is different, and that's great. But there's a difference, which is that in Cosmic, the aliens only tweak the game slightly. In Sentinels of the Multiverse, this variety is the game. Once you remove these varied decks, you're not left with an idea here. The idea behind it is variety, which is a bit of a shame. The actual game here is simply owning 4 cards and picking the best.
But that's about it. You're not spending your time making hard decisions or strategizing or really working together. No, it just becomes sort of treacly looking at everything.
Sentinels does have a lot of love online, and I think it is that treacle that makes people feel like they're enjoying the game, because you are engaged, you're paying attention, you're realizing, oh my god, no, I can do this attack and it'll do twice the damage. That's not a game, that's doing your taxes. It's a shame, isn't it?
Well, it is a shame.
But what can we do, Quinns and Paul? Can we make our own version of the rules and put them online?
That makes sense. Let's do that.
No, I've got a much more practical idea. To the time machine!
You're right, Barry. I was wondering if you could do me some art for this game. An accident? Well, how many fingers?
Hi. I'm Quinns from the future. and we're going to review I'm going to review my friends. Don't worry about it. I've got some good news, which is that your Kickstarter's going to work. Bad news, game's going to be kind of scrappy, but I'm going to help you do a few things that mean it'll work. So first thing is that you should write this down. You want to start with an idea for the game itself. Not a concept, not a theme, but a mechanic. Something that's absolutely fun to play. And then you add variety later, because that way you'll have something that's rewarding where the variety improves the game rather than something that relies on variety like a crutch. Second thing is that co-op games are great because they bring people together and they let people find out what their friends are made of. They let them share a struggle. You have to be really careful, not that you're going to do this, but that you absolutely don't design a game where players are heads down in their own little deck. And finally, the thing you're going to do that's just is that you're going to try and reduce complexity by having a really simple set of rules, because who enjoys reading rules? Rules are boring, and what you're going to do is you're going to try and dodge that responsibility by putting all of your rules on cards. And the problem with that is it means that rather than a player learning the rules before the game, players are going to learn the rules as the game goes on, which is going to slow everything right down. And finally, there's a band called One Direction. I've written down where they live. I'm going to put this in your pockets.
So do you prefer dogs or crisps?
Whoa!
Quince?
Jeez, guys! Whew. Hey, what do you think of the hit band One Direction?
Do you wanna take it slow? Or do you wanna
Okay, you know what? It doesn't matter. Why don't we just...
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Little what?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Guys! What about Sentinels of the Multiverse, huh? Hey, why don't we have a look in the box and see how it is? And see how it is? And see how it is? Whoa!